Disclaimer, sorry about your toes, because I'm probably going to step on a few. You are living in a time of smoke and mirrors and ones and zeros, and it's about time to wake up. Welcome to Thumper. This is where we just spout off about shit that's pissing us off. And right now, I'm a little fired up. And what we're here to talk about today, nonsense, a scam, a lie, or complete garbage. Do you know what that is? Do you know what that has to do with? You know, it's interesting. Whenever there's these agendas that are being pushed down from the top, you know, up here where the scum of the earth reside. Yeah, when these agendas get pushed down and then they get pushed out by the mainstream as narratives, you know. Well, usually you can spot a psyop within their narrative, within that agenda, by simply taking the word and plugging it into the Hebrew and allowing it to kick out the Hebrew meaning. And what you just heard, you know, nonsense, a scam, a lie, complete garbage. You happen to know what that word is? Hanta. You know, as in HantaVirus. Yeah. Complete garbage. And hopefully everybody out there isn't suffering from short-term memory loss, because we only have to go back about 5 years, 6 years, maybe 7 to just remember what happened last time that one of these narratives got pushed out. Yeah, the whole world shut down. Life as we know it has changed since then. Not sure if you've noticed that or not. But yeah, there was a before 2019 and an after 2019. And those time frames, those realities, they're completely different if you haven't noticed. And I think round 2 is on the horizon. Because if you haven't heard yet, there is this new boogeyman virus out in the middle of the ocean on a cruise ship out there. And I don't know, maybe that's why it smells fishy to me. I don't know. But I just want to bring up something that's interesting. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm just telling you a little information in case you weren't aware of it. So, you know, back in that time that we were just talking about, you know, where we don't want to have short-term memory loss because that was an important time in our history back when things changed forever, you know, back then. Well, you know what was going on during that pandemic? An upgrade in technology. And the interesting thing is that there just happens to be this coincidental correlation. Every time that there's this upgrade, every time that there's something happening technologically out there in the ether, in the air, well, there just happens to be a pandemic at the same time. Yeah. Because if you didn't know, while that was going on, we were being upgraded to 5G. And then you might say, well, I mean, okay, that's just a coincidence. So what? Okay. Well, if we go back a little bit further in time to around the 2009 timeframe, well, there was another pandemic, you know, sweeping across the world. You know, this other boogeyman back then. And that boogeyman was the swine flu. You know what else was going on at that time? 4G. Imagine that. Okay, well, that's 2 times. I mean, it could still be a coincidence, right? Yeah, it could be. But the problem is when you go back and you look through each time we've had one of these things on the world stage, you know, each time this has happened, yeah, there was something going on out there in the ether they were messing around with. We can go the whole way back to around the 1920s and see that when this whole thing was introduced, radio technology was pushed out into the ether. Well, what came with that just coincidentally happened to be the Spanish flu. So yeah, I mean, if you're questioning this, go do some research. I know if you don't have time, I get it, because I know that's a big part of it. Keep you so busy, keep you so distracted that you can't pay attention to what's actually happening. And if we can keep you so distracted from current events, well, then they just become history, and then, they just control that. Right? Because whatever's written in the history books, they are the facts. Okay. Well, it is an interesting thing, though, how every time there happens to be something that's going on in terms of, frequencies and electrical stuff going on, out in the ether, the atmosphere. Well, every time that there's something new taking place, there just happens to be, these big pandemics going on as well. And so I just find that interesting. I'm not saying they're connected. I'm just simply pointing out the correlation. And I find it interesting. But there are many people out there who have done research into this very topic, and they've done pretty outstanding work, I would say. Where they've taken their little meters out and tested it. And yeah, these are levels that are problematic to humanity. And it's just, again, probably a coincidence, but oftentimes the illnesses that come from those type of things happen to be the same exact symptoms as these, viruses that are sweeping across the land. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just crazy for noticing, for paying attention. But there is one more little interesting tidbit I'd like to share with you about this new, boogeyman that's out there. Because, that ship happens to be on lockdown, and there's I think it was 150 or something people, that are being quarantined on that ship. And in this day and age of technology and social media and everybody having a smartphone in their hand, it just so happens that only one voice has been heard off of that ship. And it's interesting how this guy just happens to be in the middle of these pandemics every time. Because not only is he the spokesman for what's going on with this new one out here on this cruise ship, but he was also the guy that was telling you to go get that jab back at the last one. Boy, just coincidence after coincidence here. Unbelievable.
It's the HantaVirus is all the rage. And it's a psyop, just like COVID was. And as Thomas Massey said when he came on this show, this is an IQ test. Just like COVID, just like the COVID vax, just like the lockdowns and masks, and the virus came from a pangolin at a wet market. This is an IQ test. Just like when they said ivermectin, which is a wonder drug, was some kind of poison, this is an IQ test. So watch this. Watch this. So this guy was a big guy on social media telling people to get their boosters. The same man who aggressively pushed the COVID vaccines is now the one standing on the HantaVirus cruise ship. No kidding. Reading from a script. Oh, and he did an internship in Jerusalem. Same players, different virus. You still think it's random? Let's watch.
Let's get vaccinated.
So this is him pushing the vaccine for COVID.
Let's get vaccinated. Gorgeous vaccinated girls get boosted. And gorgeous boosted girls get boosted again if you're eligible.
That's him. And now let's watch him on the cruise ship.
I normally wouldn't make a video like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people. people with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part. All we want right now.
I haven't seen a fake cry this good since Erica Kirk.
Yeah,
Here we go. And is he really on that cruise ship?
No,
is he?
No, it's true. He's not a person. He doesn't have a family. He's not on the cruise ship. He's at home, an underground base with lizard people.
Let's watch.
To feel safe, to have clarity.
Okay, you want to know who he is?
Yeah.
Who he is Jake Rosemarin. He's a freelance photographer. Jake Rosemarin Photography, Emory University, Boston, Massachusetts. But here's the part he doesn't tell you. He was an intern at the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs from 2016 to August 20, from June to August 2016, 3 months, Jerusalem District, Israel. He performed standard research collection and analysis using a variety of online databases, assisted in videography, recording, and editing of interviews and political analysis, responsible for posting and monitoring web articles written by field experts. So here's his sister. There are no coincidences here. His sister, Rachel Rosemarin, works for a firm that specializes in public health emergency preparedness. They're pushing for the next fake global pandemic to make Big Pharma and themselves more money. Nothing but liars and shill scam artists. She's the managing associate at Recovery Division, Haggerty Consulting, MPH Global Health. So this HantaVirus, by the way, is bullshit.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm not buying it. And hopefully people are waking up to this nonsense and not falling for it again, because I don't know. It seemed like the last time we took a pretty big hit. I mean, small businesses were crushed. And on the other side of coming out of your house, you know, when you were allowed to come back out, well, it seemed like the whole world changed, right? Small businesses, you know, the little mom and pop shop on the corner, they're no longer there. They said that things are open back up, but yet I see closed signs on every little small business out there. Wonder why? Because they got crushed. But not the Sheetz and the Walmart and the Lowe's and all the big box stores up. They're still standing. But you know, there's something interesting there. When you finally were allowed to go back out and go inside of these places, which I guess you were the whole time allowed to go in those places, you just weren't allowed to go in the small places, right? Because you might get it in there because it's, I guess, small quarters, maybe. I don't know what the reason was behind it, but you weren't allowed in the mom and pop shop, but you were allowed in Walmart where there's, 1,000 other people. And this boogeyman virus is, only 6 feet away from you, getting ready to be spit on you from whoever that individual is that's that close. Get away, get away. Yeah. Well, once you were allowed, out and back into the public and into these big stores, the corporations. Well, what happened to all the cashiers? There used to be an individual at each one of those cash registers. Now there's only one individual and 25 kiosks. Oh, and it's not just Walmart. I go to Sheetz. Yep, it's the same thing. Used to be 4 or 5 cashiers in there. Nope, now there's only 1 and 10 kiosks. And this is what happened just miraculously while we were all locked down. Yeah, it seems like society upgraded something else while we were all asleep in our house, quarantined. Unless, of course, your job was a, what did they call it back then? I can't even remember. I actually was lucky enough to have one of those jobs. I had one of those critical jobs or something. I forget. Who cares? It's nonsense. Critical and non-critical. That's what I think it was. I don't remember. Something like that. And I actually remember we had a little thing that we had to print out and keep with us in our vehicle. Because I had a company vehicle, and just in case you were pulled over, you had that printout. Yep, I'm a critical worker. Essential. That's what it is. I was essential. I was an essential worker. It seems like, the people who were behind the construction of all these upgrades in technology in these big corporations, it seems like they must have been essential workers too, huh? Because when the non-essential people were at home locked away, yeah, that's what they woke up to out there in reality. A new world. So I wonder what's on the other side of this next boogeyman that's awaiting us. What do you think? Huh? I think it might be the end of cash. That's what I think. I think on the other side of this one, we're going to be looking at the new digital currency, because that's the next step in this game that we're all part of, whether you wanted to play or not. Yeah, you're in this game. Yep. But that's what I think. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, right? But I'm sure there's something awaiting the other side of this 2.0 thing that's going on here that is going to continue perpetuating us forward into this world that awaits us, the golden age. Yeah. What I see is a dystopian future that I want no part of yet. Seems I don't have a say in the matter. Well, I'm at least going to bitch about it the whole time until it gets here. I can tell you that. It's up to you whether or not you want to listen to it. Anyway, like I was saying, the world changed on the other side of that last one. And I think that the world is going to look different on the other side of this next one as well. And it just seems like that's the next step, because like we were just discussing, we went from a world where you were, possibly dealing cash with these cashiers, where there was this human connection, to this now dealing with the machine. And, you're being not forced, but, prompted to use that card. Swipe the card. That cash might have germs on it. You might get sick from passing that cash around. Don't use cash. Don't use cash. Cash used to be king. Well, what I see on the other side of this one is cash being dead. Well, just where I think we're headed. Not sure what you think. Curious to hear it. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, this is Thumper, and as always, sorry about your toes if we stepped on them. If you haven't yet, subscribe. We're out.